Hi everyone, I'm the Plant Propagator and welcome to my channel. Today it has been a day filled with orchid activities. Oh my gosh, I did some rearranging. I saw some new blooms. I made a ton means I made like about 8 to 10 pollinations. And one of the things that was interesting is I pollinated chocoberry fondue today. I wasn't going to. It's not my favorite flower as far as the shape goes. There's other really nicer looking chocoberry fondues that I've seen, and this is a seedling that I got from Fred Clark a few years ago. You know, it blooms really good, but the thing that I noticed about it more today, because the blooms are a little bit older, the fragrance that coming from those blooms was just incredible. So I'm sitting here in my backyard. It's a little bit later in the day. I'm getting the neighbors barbecuing. I'm getting my orchid smell. There's lots of fragrances in the air. Back to my chocoberry fondue though, is that I really didn't notice how wonderfully fragrant it was before. And then I made a cross of that, but I made a cross previously, and I think I've shared this with you before. The previous cross that I made, I crossed it with Cattleya walkeriana, which is another one of the most fragrant orchids that's out there. But I didn't do it intentionally for that reason. I didn't do it, even though I take it into consideration. I don't cross two highly fragrant orchids in order to get an incredibly fragrant orchid. I might have gotten this by accident. And this is Choco Walker. 2 words. I named it pretty recently. The plants that are growing, the seedlings that are growing are doing really well. It's a really nice, vigorous grower, all these progeny plants, these seedlings. If by any chance the fragrance on Choco Walker is incredible and people ask me, why did I make the cross? I'm going to say, well, I just wanted to see when you marry these 2 incredible fragrances, I wanted to see what you are going to get. That's not why I did it, but I'm sure, this is the first time I noticed in chocoberry fondue the fragrance. Anyway, let me get back to the story today and what I wanted to share with you. So I have right here, this is a Cattleya lueddemanniana cultivar is Propagator. So this is my FCC awarded Cattleya lueddemanniana. I'm really happy to have it. I'm happy that it's still living. It's doing really well, and the problem is this is growing over the edge of the pot, so it needs to be repotted. Now, the next time I repot this, so it's going from a maybe this looks like an 8-inch pot to a 10-inch pot. I don't like growing my orchids in anything larger than this size pot right here, because most of my orchids are hanging and I can't handle, most of my hangers won't support this much weight, or I don't have a good place to put them. So after this thing grows out, and it's just a 1 step up, but after it grows out of this 10-inch pot, I think I'm going to have to divide it. Right now, this is the only one of these. This is the only, I haven't divided this yet, and this is an awarded plant. So this is it's from a seedling. So this is the only Cattleya lueddemanniana propagator. So I need to be real careful with it, because people have offered me a ton of money for a division of this plant. But I want to get this thing, I want to do a 1 more pot upsize before I divide this plant. And then I'll probably take it into, I'll make a few divisions of it, and because a lot of people have asked me for divisions of this plant. So I'll try it 1 more time. The plant is doing extremely well. It is growing over this side of the pot. So normally this side is it's on my fence, and so this side is facing into the sun, so it's growing one direction. It's growing in this direction, and it's a little lopsided, but that's how most of my orchids are, except for the ones in the pergola. But I don't want to put it in the pergola. I want to keep it I want to keep it where it is because it's doing so well where it is currently growing. Okay, so the way that I do this, and it's growing over to the edge of the pot, and the thing is, as it's growing over the edge, the roots are grabbing on to the pot. And when you take it out of this pot, some people, what they'll do is they'll just take a pot and they'll shove it in a bigger pot. I don't like, it's fine for those of you that do it. I don't like to do that. So I like to pull it out of the pot and then see if any of the potting mix, see what the roots look like, see if any of the potting mix needs to come off. I need to explore it a little bit. I need to get my hands into it, my fingers into it to see what's going on. I mean, everything does look okay. But after I do this, then I'm just going to put, and it'll give it a little bit more space to grow out. So what's going on is I have the roots that are growing out and attaching to this pot, and I have to try to get them off. And that, again, is the problem when you pull it out of the pot, and if you remove too much of the potting mix. I don't think I'm going to have issues, but we'll see. And that's the other thing. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. I could really embarrass myself. I could destroy the plant, which would be terrible. But let's see what happens, and let's see how this goes. So what I've done first, oh, it's so hot. So it's not hot, it's just humid. But what I've done first is I've soaked this pot in water. And what that does is it plumps up the roots, and it also makes them a little fatter so that they'll release the pot that they're grabbing onto a little bit more easily. So what I'm going to do is take it out, and there's going to be a little bit of a water mess here, but that's what happens. So I'm going to take it out, let it drain just a little bit. I got to be careful this doesn't drip over, and I got to get rid of this water here. I should mention that when I put it in the water, when I put it in the water, at least one frog came out of the pot. Again, all my plants are growing outside here in Southwest Florida. So everything, there's a lot of, mostly frogs. The anoles get into it, but the frogs get into it. The frogs kind of swim up at the top. And again, when I'm watering my orchids, a lot of times the frogs will be making noises. So anyway, this is what this plant looks like. And it's a heavy plant, but what you can see, I think, are the roots growing out from this side of the pot on this new growth, and there's new growth all in here. And what I'm hoping, I have to try to gently, some of these are already, some of them are coming off, but there's some that, and you're not supposed to, you got to be, those are coming off too. So what this allows me to do is move these roots and just kind of dislodge them from the pot. So I was able to do that, and I'm doing it with my fingernail, and I'm doing it really carefully because I don't want to this is the new growth, and I don't want to do too much damage to any of the new growth here. And I think I have many of these roots. I got really careful about this. I try not to damage anything, but so I got most of the roots, I think, are dislodged at least a little bit. And I may end up doing some damage, but I don't know. The next thing, the next part of this process, because this is kind of underneath one of my shrubs, there are some leaves up in here. There's some new, it's interesting. There's a new pseudobulb coming. Actually, it's not even a new pseudobulb, but there's a new root growing out of it, which means this pseudobulb is going to produce a new growth. I'm looking at this. There's lots of new growth coming out. And again, if you soak these things in water, what you'll be able to see, this one came out a while ago, and this is a dead root here. But what you'll be able to see is the roots plump up. And when that happens, it's really easy to see what's alive and dead. Now for the challenging thing, this is the original tag. And again, I got this from Plantio La Orchidea in Sarasota, Florida. I got it as a seedling. The seedling was generated. The parents are lueddemanniana. Haiti is the cultivar times lueddemanniana. Orchid Eros picoti. And it's Orchid Eros, so Ben Oliveris made the cross that generated this plant. He wants a division. A lot of people want divisions of this plant because it is it ends up being the highest award that AOS has ever given to a lueddemanniana. You know, this is going to change, but it's been many years since an award at this level has been given. And then there was my plant, and the earlier plant I think was many years ago. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is see if I can gently dislodge this plant. And what's making things a little bit more complicated is that this plant's in here really good, but it's still dripping water. And I may have to, I don't want to lean it over too much on this side. I may have to pull this side. Oh my gosh, this is in here really good, which is good. It means the roots are growing vigorously and attaching. And so I'm making some movement here. So I'm pulling out. This is the back part of the plant, and this is the plant where there's going to be less roots. And I'm going to open it up over this pot so that I don't make too much of a mess here, because I've got all the leca, and all the leca is going to fall out. But let's see what's going on here. All right, so lots of nice roots on this plant. Okay, so, and I actually do not want to dislodge too much. Most of these roots look really good. I'm going to pull off some of the kind of bad dead roots, but so many of these roots look really good. Yeah, this is kind of a surprise for me. So there are some, in a plant this size, you're going to get dead roots. You have to. But what is really surprising about this is how nice most of the roots look on this plant. And I just don't want to disrupt it too much. I have some roots here that are not living, that don't look great, and I can get rid of those, because what happens is it's just going to rot. But so many of them look awesome that I'm going to keep them. And I don't want to damage things too much. Now, what you try to do whenever you repot, what you try to do is, again, get rid of the old stuff. I am just going to use a lot of new potting mix, because it's probably a good idea to do that. Okay, so what I do on my Cattleyas is I put lava stone in the bottom, and this is a bigger pot, so this is going to take quite a bit of lava stone. And then what I do, all right, this is going to work out really well. So you plant it at the same level, but what you do is you take the new growth, you take the old growth and you push it towards the back side of the pot, which is this side of the pot here. The new growth is then is a little bit from the edge of the pot, and this is what I have here. So I don't know if you can tell, but here, I'll pull it out so you can see. Shouldn't have done that. Okay, but what happens is you want to push it this way, so the new growth, which is over here, is, yeah, now I got to pull something else out here. So here's another piece of old. All right, and then I got to put a little bit more of this in. But I mean, what's striking is look at all that nice. So this was the stuff that was over the edge of the pot. This was right behind it. That's really nice growth. So root growth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this tight to this side of the container, and then I'm going to pour in a bunch of leca. And so what this will do is that means all of the new root growth and all of the new growth will go to the leca. Leca, I love using leca because the roots really seem, they really seem to, they like it, they grab onto it. Sometimes what you have, like when I've grown some things in lava stone directly, and sometimes I find that the roots don't like the leca. It's kind of sharp for them or something. And so I try to I'm pushing this over to the side of the pot this way. I am loading up leca all around it. And let me go to this side of the pot. There's a lot of room here. I think this is gonna work out really well. Sometimes you do this stuff and it's a disaster, or you find out there's a lot of rotten roots in here, and it's just kind of a nightmare. But I think this is doing really well. What I can see back here is places where there's new roots growing. And I'm just kind of anal about doing this just right. So I'm pushing some of the leca, into the tight spaces here. I'm going to kind of reposition it and push it into position and kind of tamp it down so that, again, the leca falls into place. And then this is kind of hard to get to. So I'm going to put some more of the leca in here. Okay, and so this, for me, these are one of the things that I'm kind of anal about, so I'm gonna put this in here. And I'm really careful about positioning this orchid just right in this pot, getting all the old stuff out. And again, I gotta get it just right. That's just how I am. But I kind of pack it down nicely. And I pack it down with both my fingers. And again, you want to get this at the right level. Sometimes the tendency might be to put this a little low, to bury the orchid a little low in the pot. But I think, and I might raise it up just a hair. And when you raise it up, no, I'm not going to do that, because over here it's at the right level. And I'm actually going to put more on this side. And kind of get it exactly where I want it to be. So when you repot, and what happens is the roots, I think, are going to sense that, there's new stuff to grow into. And I think they're going to be pretty happy about that. And I'm going to get the leca up just a little bit more on this side so it meets the roots. Okay, so this is, I think, a good repot of this Cattleya lueddemanniana propagator. And when I say propagator, one of my friends tells me I always should say propagator and then FCC/AOS. I don't know. He tells me that I need to do that. So this is that. It is probably going to go in the same, make sure everything gets down there okay. It's going to go in the same orientation. So this side right here is going to be up against the fence. This side is going to be growing out. It then is going to go in, I got to get it right here. It's going to go in this, this isn't a pond basket, so it fits in there just right. The other thing that I'm going to do that I share with you that I do this is I always, whenever I repot, whenever I do something like this, I always add NutriCoat, so a time release fertilizer. I always add it, and then I always also add I have a granular general fungicide that I'm not really sure if it's meant for turf. It's not really meant for orchids, but I always add it just in case. Boy, that's got some new growth in the back even. Okay, fine. It'll grow wherever it wants. And then I soak it. Then I'll water it really well. It's been soaking for a while before I even pulled it out, and that was the reason that it came out so nicely. Oh, and then the tag right here. So we'll just find a nice place for it right here. So anyway, so that's how it is right there. I'll let you see. I'll get a close up of where, you know, what the roots look like inside here, and what the level of the orchid should be in this pot in this new medium. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. I've got a few more orchid things left to do. I've got pot washing that I need to do. So many pots that I need to wash and get ready for new owners. So anyway, all right, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out if you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, once again, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and happy propagating.